they are. Kind of crucial. The difference between the retractors, the difference between the pickups. And all we're looking at, everybody, is the tips. We're not looking at any of this part. What we want to concentrate on is everything at the bottom.
We got sent over here.
Good news.
Does that mean we passed?
That's good news. We're just going over a minor set, everybody.
Oh, cool.
Okay,
Thanks,
just so we
Wendy.
can kind of take a look at it. Like I was telling everybody earlier, just know your tips. That's all we care about, is just the tip, okay? We all know they got the hand pieces. We all know these are similar. But the test part's gonna be on identifying what these are, okay? Most of your stringers are gonna go in this fashion. They're gonna start with your smallest Kelly or Mosquito at the very end of your stringer to start it off. Then you're gonna go to your regular Kelly clamps, then your straight Kelly clamps, then your Mayo clamps. And I'm gonna stop there because if everybody gets a look at it, Mayo clamps look a lot like the Kellys, right? So the only difference, you guys, is gonna be the size of that clamp. Your Mosquitoes are small, so just think small Mosquito, right? Small. Kelly clamps are a little bit bigger, a little heavier tip. Same idea, use the same way. Same with Mayos. Use the same way as these guys are. They're all the same clamp. They do the same thing, but they're just a little bit longer and thicker. That's the only difference. So Mosquitoes, straight Mosquitoes, Kelly clamps, straight Kelly clamps, and Mayo clamps. Basic on every tray. Doesn't matter what body part, you're gonna have those on there. Spine, bow, total hip, total knee. Those are all gonna be in your tray. Then we're gonna kind of go up to these fancy ones here. Alice clamps with the little teeth on the end of them. Alice clamps, you usually have between 4 and 6 of these on every stringer. And you're gonna have Babcocks. These come in 2 lengths. These are shorts, and then some trays have long Babcocks. Same instrument, used the same way, just the difference is the length. Babcocks, they kind of got a funny little Babcock. Coker clamps. These are straight clamps with a little rat tooth tip on the end of it. It's a crushing clamp. I'm gonna be using this in bone cases a whole lot. Every tray has between 4 and 6 of those standard. Every case. Doesn't matter what it is. Then we're gonna
Can
go.
you give an example of what a bone case would be? Like what kind of surgery would...
What I use a coker clamp on?
Yeah.
Total knee or total hip. And I'm gonna be grabbing bone with it because it has those teeth on there that bite and hold and clamp. It's a crushing clamp. You guys will learn the difference between traumatic and atraumatic clamps as you guys get through what you're doing more. But a coker clamp. So long as you guys just know, you don't need to know what they're used for necessarily. That'll come over time, right? But just knowing the difference between these instruments, you guys, is crucial. Because they're gonna pop you a picture of it on your test. I'm fairly certain. They did on mine. I can't imagine that they wouldn't on you guys because this is your life. It is my life too. But I have to know what we're using that clamp for. You guys don't, right? So that's kind of a bonus for y'all. But coker clamps, they're really easy to identify. They're very different than any other clamp you're gonna have on here. But always 4 to 6 of those every tray. A schnitt clamp or a tonsil clamp looks just like a Kelly. And it essentially is the same thing. The only difference is the length, as you guys can see. That's the only difference. It's the same clamp for the same thing. It's just for a deeper part of the body, right? Always have to have at least 2 of those on a tray. Needle drivers, you're gonna have 2 long and 2 short needle drivers. They always have a gold handle on it, right? Everybody kind of is familiar with what a needle driver looks like for the most part. 2 long, 2 short on every tray. Standard. Your scissors. I'm gonna have my Metzenbaum scissor on there, right? We all talked about that. I'm gonna have my curved Mayo scissor, which is the heavier one, and my straight Mayo, and my utility scissor, my bandage scissor. Always on there. We need these in surgery for a number of things. Cutting casts, cutting drapes, cutting dressings. I wouldn't use my suture scissor for that. I'd use my utility scissor because it'll dull my good scissors that I use in surgery. So I use that guy. Always on there. I'm gonna jump to sponge sticks because in a real stringer, your sponge sticks are gonna be somewhere near the very end because they're long. Everything goes in a nice systemic order, okay? From short to long on your stringer, standard. Always 2 ring forceps on your case. These are easy to remember, they got the hole in the middle. And if I told anybody any horror stories about it, using these in surgery, it should stick, all right? Everybody's heard my horror stories about using these in surgery, right? It's another lecture for another day. But these are pretty standard, have them on every case. You're also gonna have 4 towel clips on there. I never use these on the body per se. These are mostly to hold my drapes in place or to hold my bovie and my suction in place. It's a piercing clamp. Some places have a non-piercing towel clip called a pier clamp, P-E-E-R, like your piers. Those are really the ones that I would use more to hold my bovie and suction with. Because if I use one of these on my drape, it's very sharp, it's gonna put a hole in my drape. If there's a hole in my drape, that's an area for contamination. I don't want holes in my drapes on the field. So I would not use these. But always these are a standard on my stringer on every case you do, just like my utility scissor. Gotta have between 4 and 6 of these every time. That's a basic stringer. It's very simple, not a whole lot of instruments on it. This is a minor set, so this is a small tray that you guys will be doing. A major set is exactly the same tray, but I'm gonna have a longer variety of instruments in it for a deeper part of the body, right? Either the bow, spine, someplace like that. Always gotta have my knife, my spoon, and my fork. Here's my knife, here's my spoon, and my fork is gonna be my Metzenbaum scissors. Those are basic, 3 basic instruments that I need to start a surgery. So I have to have these 3 items forever on my tray. You're gonna have 2 knife handles in your set, and you're gonna have a variety of forceps. In every basic tray, you have a DeBakey forceps, and I want everybody to come and kind of touch this and feel it. It's a smooth forceps with no teeth. We use these in cardiovascular surgery. We use these in general surgery because there's nothing in here that could hurt any tissue. It's all smooth, right? But it has a great little tip for picking up things with, right? Usually a long and a short version of this in every tray. This one has 2 longs, but the idea is the same. Your Ferris Smith or your Ferris Bueller forceps. Don't normally use these in general surgery. These are kind of more for a bone case because see the teeth on it? Has the same teeth that a Coker clamp has on it. That same little rat tooth at the very top. Your Coker clamps have that same tooth. So these are more for crushing. These are more for picking up really heavy, hard things that I want to get a good grip on because those teeth are crushing. And I'm gonna have Adsons. Adson is a basic little tiny forceps. These come in every single case. You'll use these at the end for closing skin. Because they're small, they also have a little rat on the very end of it, as you can see, which is also good for picking up tissue. Very good. 2 of those always. You'll have a Russian forceps, which has the cup with the little teeth on it. Basic instrument, you'll have a long and a short, always. Universal forceps, any case at all.
Forceps, the only one with the little cup in it, right?
This
Only-
one is,
okay.
this one is the only forceps with a cup is a Russian. Yep,
Okay.
the only one. Army Navy retractors. Army Navy, this depends, right? Always 2 of these. These are basic retractors. I can use these for anything. I can use a small end for something on the wrist. I can use a large end for something abdominally. Basic. These are called Eastman retractors, but they do the same thing as a Richardson retractor or a Kelly retractor, if everybody's has learned that already in some of their instruments. The only difference is they're connected, so I have a choice on either end. Kelly retractors, it's just gonna be 1 handle. I get 1 selection, but different sizes, right? But these are lovely because I have them on both ends. That gives me, gosh, 2 instruments, 4 instruments in 2, as opposed to 3 of each. Just a shorter version of the Kelly retractor, same thing, same function. These are called Eastmans or Kellys. Sen retractors, little tiny ones. I have a Ragnell end for tissue that I don't want to crush, and I have a pointy end for skin that I want to retract. Sens, S-E-N-N, Sen retractors. Basic. In a minor set, in a major set, always. Wheatlanders. This isn't really a Wheatlander. Haha, I caught him. He's wrong. That's all right. Wheatlanders, self-retainers. You're gonna have them in this size. You'll have them half this size that are baby Wheatlanders, and you'll have them really long. Basic self-retainer. But if everybody wants to take a picture, come up here, take a feel. I don't care what you need to do. Kind of get used to it. It all looks the same. It has a different function. But if everybody can just remember the tips on them, that's all they're gonna question you guys on. Okay, that's it. Basic stringer is this. You just move it this way and pull them right out. Boom. Very, very simple.
Wow.
How we feeling? Like it's a lot. I know, it feels like a lot. But honestly, come up here, touch them, feel them. Get your hands on them. See how they work. See the mechanics of them. Look at the differences. Take a picture. Kelly clamp versus